when I work on myself, and I'm working on myself so much, does the divine counterpart, the divine masculine, work on themselves too? Because I don't see them working. Why they're not doing anything? Why do I have to do everything and they're not doing anything? Does that sound familiar? If so, stay tuned, because that is something that many clients ask me, and I'm going to give you the answer in that video. Well, I already told you what many clients say. They're like, okay, I'm working my butt off, I'm doing the meditation, I'm doing the manifesting, but what if they're not changing? Can I get union with them if they're not changing? Because they have to do the work as well. But they're not doing, I don't see them doing anything. So how can we get together? But unfortunately, or fortunately, you can say fortunately, this is not how it works, because we can explain this and take this from different angles, okay? Let's start not with the metaphysical one, let's start with the one that I have experienced, because I have been coaching twin flames. Yeah, I've been doing this since 2005. So I have a lot of observations, and I've been on this own journey, of course. Well, actually, I've been coaching twin flames in particular since 2012, 13. I've always been a spiritual coach, and my expertise has always been the soul connections. So yeah, I have been on this journey, of course, myself, and I've talked to thousands of clients, which enabled me, of course, to get like a bird's perspective and to compare things. And something I have noticed is, yeah, I'm always trying to explain it to my clients like this. Imagine you meet your divine counterpart, and then you connect, and then you both have feminine and masculine energy within you, and you share those energies. You have together 100% feminine and 100% masculine energy. In the beginning, it is harmonious, and it needs to be harmonious, because imagine you attract somebody and they start triggering you on day one. There's not going to be a day two, but your soul wants the triggering. And that's another thing many clients say, oh, I don't want that. Yeah, the ego doesn't want that, but your soul wants to show you what is not healed so you can heal it. So we attract somebody, it is this harmonious phase till we have this connection, and this person is really important to us, and then they start pushing our buttons, and it sucks. You can't say it's otherwise. If you are not in self-love, they start treating you accordingly, and they don't show you respect, or they don't show you how amazing you are, or they start neglecting you, or they start telling you, yeah, I don't really want to be with you, I just want to be friends, or friends with benefits, or I don't see you that way. Many of you probably heard that. If we have fear of abandonment, of course they have to, not being worst case scenario, they have to ghost you, but if it's not that bad, then they have to withdraw, and they're not emotionally available until you have cleared that wound. So what happens is you meet in the middle, and then when this journey starts, the divine feminine, or I should say in this case the distorted feminine, she steps into the distorted feminine energy, and let's say, since she has to balance the inner feminine and masculine energy, she steps out, and now she's got like 70% of the feminine energy, which means she only has room for 30% of the rational, the masculine energy. But if she's stepping into 20% of the feminine energy, then he has only 30% left, and he has to step into distorted masculine energy, 70% masculine energy. And the distorted masculine energy is oppressing feelings, distancing themselves, running away. We can talk about attachment style. So she is getting into the anxious attachment style because that is her wound, and he is stepping into the avoidant attachment style. Like, oh my God, this connection, it's crazy, it's too intense, I cannot bear it. So they withdraw. She feels him withdrawing, and she gets even more scared, even more feminine energy, and he has to step even further away. And then if she's trying to close this gap out of fear, she's driving him away, and she's even more scared. And there's no union happening here. But once she is realizing that, and once she is starting doing the work, and she's getting into her self-love, she's stepping into her power, she is starting healing her inner childhood wounds. If she has the anxious attachment style, she's working on that, and she's getting closer to her center again, and getting that inner balance between her own inner feminine and masculine energy. And then what she's doing is she's pulling him back into the center. Of course, sometimes he may try to oppress his feelings, yes, and he goes a little bit out, and she gets kicked out of the center as well. So I always say it's not the mission to always stay centered. It's not rational, it's not plausible. You know, we all get out sometimes, but she learns to step into the center. So she goes into the center and she pulls him back in, which means if she goes into the center, she pulls him into the center, all of the oppressed stuff is now coming up. So once she heals herself, it affects him too, because he is now forced to do it. So what happens usually if there has been a lot of oppressed stuff is once she's done the work, he's not going to come the next day. No, this is when his healing journey starts. But don't worry. If you think, oh my God, I've been on this journey for like 2 years before I got there, he's going to take 2 years. No, because you were out in, and you were over here and nothing was happening. But once you learn to hold your center for the most part and you learn to get in, he cannot really get out, because once he gets out, you get out and you get back in and you pull him back in, and he cannot oppress. So divine masculine, or yeah, we could say divine, or getting divine at that case, he is faster because she is holding the center and he cannot go all the way over here. When she has off days, yes, but she learned to deal with off days and she pulls him back in. So he is a lot faster. So he is doing the work, but the person who's oppressing the stuff. And remember, please, the divine masculine can be incarnated in the woman's body. So it has nothing to do with gender. You may be homosexuals, you may be lesbians, pansexual, whatever. It does not matter what your biological gender is, because souls don't know gender, right? It's just this physical realm where we get to play. But the one who's oppressing, they're not like, oh, I'm oppressing all that stuff, maybe I should look at that. No, it's the person who's stepping into the distorted feminine energy. What is the distorted feminine energy? I didn't say that. That's the pain. It's the impatience. It may be anger. It may be fear. It may be all of that heartbreak. And he's not feeling that because he's oppressing. So she is in that pain and it hurts, and she is noticing, oh my God, I have to do something. I have to survive. I have to do something to heal. So she is the one who is called to do the healing. That is why the divine feminine, or the feminine energy, is the way shower, because she has to step into the center and she pulls him in. So he doesn't have to do everything she does. It will happen automatically for him. Always say the feminine, she works on herself and it works within the masculine. It's more like a passive approach happening with him. You know, it could be, for example, she is holding her center and she's pulling him in. All of his suppressed stuff is coming up, and he's not like actively meditating or actively doing the affirmations, but then he's laying in bed and he is dealing with it before he's falling asleep, for example. Some, of course, may seek therapy. That is absolutely possible, that he's also actively doing something. But for the most part, this part it's, the roles, they were like given before, prior to incarnation. Yeah, you're taking the feminine part, you're taking the masculine part, and again, has nothing to do with gender, and you are the one who steps into the middle, and then I'm going to follow you there. So they don't have to put in the same work, but I'm not saying that his part is easier, because imagine you love somebody and they do love the feminine. It's not that they don't want your love. They just have a different kind of trauma. Maybe their mother was overburdening and smothering, or something else happened that they connected, due to trauma, intimacy or closeness with something that is dangerous. And then they're scared of this closeness. So please don't mad at them for having trauma as well. I mean, you may have trauma, you must have trauma as well if you attracted somebody who has some kind of trauma, right? If you have the anxious attachment style, that is nothing that is healthy. So there is some trauma, you're just dealing with the trauma in a different way. So please don't be mad at him for not coming, because this is a traumatized person as well. Please don't point your finger at a traumatized person and saying, oh, why are you not acting like a healthy person? I want you to act healthy. Why are you not acting healthy? You're a narcissist because you're not acting healthy. No, it's a traumatized person. Have some empathy for that person, because you want empathy as well, right? You just handle this trauma in a different way. But once you step into the center, you pull them in. This is what I learned on the twin flame journey, because I saw this happening to thousands of people and myself, of course. And once he is holding the center and then he is doing the work in whatever way it is, it may be just the passive way, thinking about it while laying in bed in the evening. It doesn't matter how he's doing it, but he's doing it. And then when she holds her place, he is doing the work, and then we can attract union. But when we talk about metaphysics now, about timelines, well, it's basically the same thing, just the explanation is a little bit different. She has to do the work, because if she is unhealed, as long as she's got the anxious attachment style, she cannot attract somebody with the healthy attachment style. She's going to attract somebody with the avoidant attachment style. Is that his fault for having that wound, that trauma? Nope, it's not his fault. Just like it's not your fault for having your trauma. But now you're an adult and it's your responsibility. So when we talk about shifting timelines, if you have fear of abandonment, you cannot possibly manifest union. If you're not in self-love, if you have a negative self-concept, you cannot manifest somebody who is treating you well. So of course you have to do the work to change your fear of loss and abandonment, your self-concept, your thoughts about this person or love in general, about relationship in general. You know, if you have like limiting beliefs, all love hurts, or guys only want this, or guys only want sex, or women only want that and that and that. As long as you still have these concepts, that is what you attract. You always attract law of assumption. You know, your assumptions are getting pushed out. So you have to change your assumptions, and that means also changing your assumptions about this person. So if your person is absent and you learn to manifest, you visualize with being with them. And if you're on this twin flame journey, let's be honest, there's this obsessive part where you visualize with them, being with them all the time anyway. It's just that you have fears that kind of like cancel that order. Because when you think about them, you order being with them and you wants to give that to you, but then you focus on, oh, but they're not there and they have all of this stuff to heal and they're not coming. So the universe is like, okay, so you're staying connected to them, okay, but they're not going to come in. And then you are stuck in this kind of limbo state. So it is, of course, on you to heal your assumptions, to check your assumptions, to heal your inner beliefs and change your inner beliefs and change your concept about yourself and about the other person. And what does happen then? Well, creation is finished. So we live in a multiverse where several versions of your person exist. There is this version of them that doesn't want you, and it exists. And then there's another version that kind of wants you, but not enough. And then there's another version of them that wants you, but they don't dare to get to you. There's another version that kind of wants you, but they're too traumatized to ever get over that. And then there's the other version of them that is doing the work and wants this union as much as you do. So they all exist simultaneously, and your inner thoughts determine which version of them you get. So they don't have any free will, because all of these versions, they exist. And this version that doesn't want you has free will and says, I don't want you. And then there's this version who wants you but cannot get over their stuff, so there's their free will. Yeah, I'm not doing my healing work. And then there's another version of them that already exists in this multiverse that is choosing to do the work and to attract you as well. So all of those versions have free will, right? But none of them can decide which version you get. So you change your assumptions, and then you can have that version that wants to be with you absolutely. And that is similar to when you are here, you pull them back in. What happens when you heal? You kind of like also heal your beliefs, because when you work on your self-concept and when you work on trusting, you don't think that negatively all the time anyway. And that is what's preventing your manifesting negative thinking. But when you have raised your frequency, you are in a better mood, then you automatically often think better and in a more healthy way. And that is basically pushing you to the timeline where they always wanted to be with you, and then you can get union. That is why it is your job and not their job, and you don't have to worry at all about are they doing the work. Okay, if you want to talk about spiritual, twin flame connection or soul connection, you step into your center, you pull them in, boom. If we talk about timelines, then you change your self-concept and boom, you change the timeline where they're already ready and waiting for you. So of course they don't have to do anything. If you're waiting for them to do something, guess what? You're sticking to the timeline where your person is not doing the stuff, because that is the order you send out to the universe, because that is your belief about them. And the universe will always confirm your assumptions and belief. If you have the assumption they're not doing their work, that's the version you're going to get, as long as you're holding on to that shitty assumption. If you're holding on to that assumption for 30 years, guess what you will get for the next 30 years? that version of them that's not doing the work. If you change your assumptions and you persist, then it may be a short time until you change into the timeline and they got you. I just recorded another video about the length of this journey, and I have clients who've been on this journey for like 40 years. And now, finally, she is really applying what I'm teaching her. And all of a sudden, after 40 years, she's making major progress, more than she has done in 40 years. Now he's telling her he loves her, which she has never done before. After 40, not 14, by the way, 4 decades on this journey. So it doesn't matter how long you're on this journey. It just needs this mental push, this mental pushing through and doing the work and clearing your assumptions, and then boom, you get your union. So that's why you do the work, and you don't have to worry about them doing the work. You don't have to worry about that. You should drop that worry, because that's not the version of them you want. You try to see them in the best light in order to get the best version of them. But it has to be on your inside. Talk to your inner masculine, because guess what? Your outside guy or woman is just a representation of your own inner feminine or masculine. How do they get along? Are you in peace with feminine or masculine energy? How are you talking to your person on the inside? Are you arguing with your person? Universe thinks you likes to argue then, and they will always make sure you get more situations where you can argue. So don't argue with them. Exchange loving words. See them as their best version. And if you have your best version of them on your inside, that is what the universe will then read, and that is what the universe will give you. If you are mad at them, if you call them a narcissist and selfish, you're never going to get that union person. You're always going to get that person that is mirroring your assumptions back to you. So change your assumptions. If you need help with that, of course, you can reach out. I am available for personal coaching. My contact information is below. There is a lot of free videos on my channel. Check those out. And I have a big announcement. There is something big to come. I am right now working on a free class that I'm going to upload on this channel, 1 video per week, about how to manifest twin flame union. And there's going to be videos on different topics on how to do your shadow work, about third-party situations, how about you can deal with that. I've already done a video on ghosting. Maybe I'm going to talk more about that. Let's see. Or I'm just going to link to that video I've already done about ghosting. So if you're ghosting, check out the video about ghosting. But anyway, it's going to be a free class. And then there's going to be a paid class that's a little bit more extended, because the free version will have all of the vital information but maybe a little edited, and the paid class will be longer videos, more videos, additional videos, and also additional information and meditations, and also a workbook, and of course instant access. Whereas the free version, you have to wait for the next video once a week, and if you want a paid version, you have instant access to all of the videos. And there is going to be like a beta version that is probably like 1/3 of the price off, like 33% off, and for the first couple of weeks before it will be full price then. So make sure you subscribe, so you would get a cheaper price if you're interested in that. If you're not interested in that, then make sure you still subscribe to get the free version of this class that will still help you and can help you to make major progress. And then there's going to be additional classes. I'm planning 1 class on how you can use your twin flames energy to heal childhood trauma, and I'm going to do an entire course just on removing third parties with a workbook and meditations and additional information than the basic information that you are going to get for free. So anyway, I do wish you all the best, and I hope I see you in personal coaching or in another video. Check out my other content. Until then, have a nice day, and I see you then. Bye bye.